What's going on, my fellow financial professionals? Welcome to the Life as I Know It podcast, and I'm your host, Jason Marshall. And listen, in this episode, we're going to talk about how you can get a limitless amount of leads and referrals, warm leads and referrals right after this. All right, welcome back, guys. Listen, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And listen, if you go ahead and do that today, you'll go ahead and get the HBO special. That's right, you get to help a brother out. So go ahead and like, subscribe, and share this with your other financial professionals to help them along on their journey as we all do this together. And so, a lot of times I talk to financial professionals all across the country, and some of them are like, well, do you all do leads? How do your leads work? And, my response to them is no, and I just kind of go on to share some ways, but I really don't have the time like I do on this podcast to go into depth of how I was able to just get a limitless amount of warm leads and referrals that I really didn't even have time to reach everybody. It was just so many. And I want to be able to share some of those same things with you all on today. And that way you can take this right back into your practice, implement it, and let me know how it works for you, because it worked like a charm for me. And so let's just jump right into it. So the first way that I was able to get a lot of referrals was just from the in-person meeting. So I'd have somebody come in, but I would always kind of preface the meeting or start it out by saying, hey, listen, as we go through this meeting, you may think of friends, family members, coworkers, colleagues who could benefit from this same type of sit down. So if you think of those people, don't be afraid to jot them down, and we'll figure out a comfortable way for you to introduce them to me. Is that fine with you? And a lot of times they'll oblige and just say, yeah, that's perfectly fine. And so typically after I give the presentation, whether I close the business and help them with the product or service, or if I don't, I'm still asking for referrals, and I would get them 9 times out of 10. And so as I'm coming to either writing an application to kind of get rid of the awkward silence, I would just say, hey, remember at the beginning of the meeting, I said you may think of friends, family members, coworkers, colleagues who could benefit from this same type of sit down. And they're like, yeah, I remember when you told me that at the beginning of the meeting. I said, well, who are 10 people that come to mind when you think of those people? And so while I'm writing this application, just to kind of avoid the awkward silence that I have to go and do while I'm writing your application, if you could just write down those names and numbers of those individuals. And so it would work like a charm. Now, granted, I would have just a kind of like a document that I created, just very simple. It had, the clients, it'll ask for the referral's name, it'll ask for their number, it'll ask for their marital status, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. It would ask for, and it would also ask for the number of children they had. And so, and it would also ask for what is the relation to the person that's given the referral. And so I'll just kind of go over each one of them. Obviously, name is obvious, phone number is obvious, but the marital status, that's good for me to know, because 9 times out of 10, I would almost never meet with a spouse separate or a married couple without their spouse. So if somebody's married, I'm not meeting with them without their spouse. And the reason for that is because a lot of time, if we're trying to move forward with the business and helping them, put some protection in place, it'll kind of delay the process, because they say, oh, let me get back with my wife, or let me get back with my husband, and I'll get back with you. And so, again, that just kind of prolongs the situation. So a lot of time I just say, hey, if you're married, I'd be more than happy to wait till you can get with your spouse, and you all can get with me together. And that way I can go ahead and help them right then and there if necessary. Then the relation to them. So the relation to them is very important, because I don't know what to say when I give them a call. And so let's just say, for instance, if you gave me your brother's information, I'd say, hey, this is Jason Marshall, and I'm giving you a call because of your brother, or I'm giving you a call because of your cousin, I'm giving you a call because of your coworker. And so you know how to quickly address them and knock down that guard when you give them a call. You want to know how many children they have as well, because that'll just kind of help you quickly assess the need, if there's a greater need or not. And so you may want to call those and prioritize and call those individuals first. And so that's why I would basically gather those pieces of information so that way I can quickly call them. So that's how I would get the in-person referrals. Now, let's say, for instance, they just couldn't make a decision at that point. Well, I'll just maybe go and gather some brochures or something like that. And while I'm doing that, I'll kind of take my time because I'll still ask them, remember, when I said at the beginning of the meeting that you may think of friends, family members, coworkers, or colleagues who could benefit from this same type of sit down. And of course they would say it. And so I would still say, so who are 10 people that that could benefit from this? And I give them the same sheet of paper for them to fill out: name, number, relationship to them, their marital status, and how many children do they have. And so those were pretty much ways that I could really get those referrals. Now, let's talk about, once I got the referrals, how I could warm them up even more. So whenever I got those names from those individuals that I sat down with, I say, okay, listen, let's back it up a little bit. Before I got their names and numbers, I say, who are 10 people that come to mind? And listen, if they want to meet, we will. And if they don't, we won't. So there's no pressure. So what I do is when I got those names back, I would already have a pre-populated text message that I could send to that person that gave me the referrals. And basically the text will go something like this, that they would send to those 10 people. It'll say, hey, I recently met with a financial professional. His name is Jason Marshall, and I got a lot of value from our sit down, so much so that, your name came up and I thought of you and I gave you his information, or I gave him your information, and he may give you a call. It would definitely be worth your time to meet with him if he does. But if you would like for him not to call, let me know and I'll let him know. And so I would just send that text message to that person. They would send it out to those 10 people. So now you already got the warm referral right there. And if that person did not want to meet with them, they would basically just respond and say, no, I'm fine, I already got something, or I'm not interested. So then I could just cross that name right off the list. And so that was how I was able to get all of those hot, warm referrals. And listen, when I call those individuals, again, it'd be simple. I just get that sheet of 10. I would have a stack of those referrals with 10 names and numbers, sometimes even more than that. But, I say, hey, John, this is Jason Marshall, and I was calling you because of your brother, Steve. And they, John would say, yeah, Steve sent me a text and told me you might be giving him a call. You might be giving me a call. And so I say, yes, sir. And so I'd love to show you some of the same things that I shared with him. And so I just wanted to see, mornings, afternoons, or evenings, the best time of day for us to get together for about 30 or 45 minutes. And it worked like a charm because, again, they gave their referrals the heads up, and the referral had the option to opt out of it, right as soon as they sent the text. And so, a lot of times those referrals, man, they were golden. And it simply boils down to you is just simply asking. So that's how you do it from in-person meetings. So now let's talk about social media. Now this is where and why I say, the number of warm leads and referrals are pretty much limitless, because they really are. So let's talk about it. So, and I'll give a few examples. I'll share a few screenshots so you can have some receipts to see how this really took place, right? So, as strange as it may sound, I would close out a meeting after I delivered the policy. Now, this is after I delivered the policy. They're actually my client. And so I'd say, I really appreciate your business, and it means a lot to me that you trust me to handle your affairs like this. And so really, I don't know if you noticed or not, but it's really only two ways that I get paid. Number one is, of course, through a product or service. And number two is through your kind referrals that you've given me. But I wanted to see, if you wouldn't mind just taking a quick selfie picture with me. And would you mind just sharing this with your friends on social media, Facebook or wherever? Mainly at the time, this was Facebook. And of course, they wouldn't have a problem taking a selfie and just saying, hey, Jason helped me out a lot. I got a lot of value from it. So let's talk about that because, it was, like I say, it was a limitless amount of referrals. So, it's much better for somebody else to toot your own horn versus you trying to toot your own horn yourself. And what I mean by that is I easily could have probably took the selfie and posted it up on my page and said, I was able to help this client and, do this and do that. But that wouldn't garner as much attention as if the client was to do it. So let's talk about how it just became such a limitless opportunity for me to get so many warm leads and referrals from this. Because you remember, a lot of time when most people have at least 1,000 friends on social media, at least 500 friends. So whenever that client posted that picture up, it was just basically so many of their friends, family members, coworkers, and colleagues that would comment on it. So I'm gonna just take I'll try to put this up on the screen. So the first example, and these people have given me permission. So let me get this pulled up. All right, so here's the first example, right? So this was a selfie that was posted up. It says, thanks so much, Jason Marshall, for taking care of all of my insurance needs and most importantly, preparing me for an early retirement. I appreciate your awesome customer service and your dedication to your clients. All right, so look, it's 63 people liked it, and then you had a lot of people that actually commented on it. So one lady was saying, I need to get your feedback. I need to get back with him. You gave him my number, right? Another one, BK Harrison, that's already a client of mine at the time. And then, of course, it's just a conversation going on right there in the comments. And so basically, I was just able to, reach out to Ramona, right? So here, bam, here's the next slide. I messaged Ramona, and I was just saying, hey, Ramona, I love to show you some of the same things that I shared with Crystal, and boom, she became a client. Now, I did the same process with Ramona. I asked her, could we take a selfie, and would she mind sharing it? Now, she shared it, and she thanked in the comments, she thanked Crystal for the referral, and Crystal said, you're welcome. Now, boom, here's another one, Cherie Bazell. This is very important. Many of our parents were not able to do this for us, right? So I, of course, messaged Miss Bazell, right? And Miss Bazell became a client. And here came another client, or almost, she became a client, but she said, I already completed my meeting with Jason, Ramona, and Crystal. I'm in there, LOL. So you got so many people that are just commenting on this. Boom, here's Crystal, right? So it's just, it goes on and on. So now let's talk about how, like, even the people that don't comment on the post, but they like the post. So it was probably, let's see here, 46 people that like Keisha Boston's post. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to message those 46 people. And I just say the same thing. I say, for example, one woman's name was Vanjie Morris. So Vanjie, I said, good evening, Ms. Morris. I hope this message finds you well. My name is Jason Marshall, and I'm a financial professional where I help individuals and business owners with their financial planning. And the reason I'm messaging you is because I recently noticed that you liked a picture my client Ramona McGee posted on her page of us doing business together. Now, I have no reason to believe that you are in the market for any of my services, but I'm asking for the courtesy of a 30 to 45 minute meeting to more clearly show you some of the same ideas and concepts that I shared with Miss McGee. That way, if I could be a resource to you, if not now, at least at some point in the future, you can reach out to me. And so with that being said, our mornings, afternoons, or evenings, the best time to catch you within the next couple of weeks. Coffee on me. Boom. She said, good evening, Mr. Marshall. Thanks so much for reaching out to me. I would love to meet and discuss your products with you. Mid-mornings are fine with me. So, I mean, it's just crazy amounts of referrals and warm, hot referrals and leads just by doing this. And so that's why, in my opinion, I really don't think it's, that beneficial to buy leads, because the experience that I've heard, I've never had to buy any leads, but the horror stories that I've heard from purchasing leads can be, you know, it could be very bad, because a lot of times those leads are really, you know, burned up by other people because they've been sold to other people. Now, granted, there are some lead generation services that, you know, can give you unique quality leads, but most of the time, you know, the experiences that I've heard and the feedback that I've heard from purchase leads is just hadn't been good. So here's another one. So this was basically from LinkedIn. So this was just a way that I actually, I don't know, I did something on LinkedIn. I think I just sent a connection. I was out connecting and prospecting on LinkedIn. So if somebody accepted my connection on LinkedIn, I'm going to send them a message. And so this was one of my clients. She wasn't my client at the time. Is Rhonda Lee. What's up, Rhonda? Thank you so much for sharing all of the content. I really appreciate it. But before I knew Rhonda, I just had connected with her on LinkedIn. And I just said, you know, I hope you're having a great day so far. Thanks for the connection. I really appreciate that. By now, you're probably aware that I offer insurance and financial services, but I'm asking for the courtesy of 30 minutes to more clearly show you how I do what I do. That way, if the need ever arises, I could be a resource to you. If not now, at least at some point in the future. Pretty much the same script that I came up with. And I'm just copying and pasting. I got these scripts saved in my phone in a notepad. And that way I can just copy and paste. I don't have to type these long messages every single time. And so, of course, she set the appointment. Now, she took the selfie as well. And she said, guess what? Got the first phase of my financial plan taken care of. So next up is planning for retirement. Thank you, Jason March, for all the help. And I highly recommend him for all your financial planning needs. So again, 53 people liked it and lots of people went ahead and commented. And either they were comments or current clients, or, you know, people that I know, they were just rooting for me in the comments, and I was able to just message them and get those appointments. So, you know, I just wanted to kind of just spend a little bit of time with you guys to show you how you could get a limitless amount of leads and referrals, because paying for the leads, this is a free way. So even if, you know, of course, there are some good lead generation services out there, but maybe you don't want to make that investment just yet. This is a way that you could get so many referrals and leads, both in person and online. So I just wanted to take some time to share this with you guys. Take it, apply it into your everyday practice. If you got any questions, reach out. I'd be more than happy to you know, assist you in any way that I can. But listen, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, we'll see you guys later.